just taken this opportunity to announce that there is a retreat being scheduled. Actually, the dates have been firmed up to be April 16 to April 11. And it's 6, did I say 16? I meant 6 to 11. Yeah, Saturday to Thursday. And if you have any interest in joining the retreat, you can just contact us, and we'll. It's also scheduled on the meetup group. There are quite a few of people that are new here, not quite a few, a couple of people that are new. So this meeting, satsang, is basically it's a meeting for you to explore whatever questions you have about yourself, about your life, not about just what is happening in your life, but about you, about what is happening within you. What is your experience? And just to remind you that your question is everybody's question. We all share the same awareness, the same space. We may have different ideas, different experiences, but at our very essence, we are not different. We're all very, very, very similar, much more similar than we may think we are. And oftentimes when you're speaking a question, you're speaking everybody's question in one way or the other. And sometimes when your question is being addressed, it may be addressed not just for you, but for somebody else, and maybe for everybody in one way or the other. We are all travelers, we're all journeying the same journey, sharing the same experience, the same dream, the same journey. And we are companions, we are friends along the path. And so in this exploration, in this journey that we call life, it's really important for us to hold hands at a very deep level and to recognize that we have much more in common than we think, that we are surrounded with friends who love us. And we are one of those loving friends as well. A few words about the nature of this meeting, Advaita. It's about non-duality. So the teaching of non-duality basically states that this experience is not about this experience, that this experience is about dissolving the conditions that separate us, that we basically feel and believe that we are a separate self, that we are a man or a woman, that we are born, and that we exist in time and space. And because of that belief, and of course the feeling that comes hand in hand with the belief, we experience separation. We perceive an external world. We perceive and experience an internal being, a separate subject and an external object. And our perception and our experience is that of being a separate self living in an external world. And the teaching of non-duality invites us to look into that, to investigate the truth of such a point of view. And of course, the best place to investigate is right here, right now. Because our experience is not yesterday or tomorrow, our experience is always right now. What is right now? Whatever needs to be understood is understood right now. You cannot understand something tomorrow. You cannot understand something yesterday. Understanding is only right now. So in our contemplation, in our listening, we listen without remembering. We're just listening and sinking into the listening and allowing the listening to sink within us. So it's a right now listening that has no later or no before. So in this very moment, this very listening is not a listening in time. It's an instantaneous listening that has no duration. It is not in time. So our inquiry is, of course, right now. Most of us believe that we are sitting on this chair, we are sitting on this couch. We believe that, and we may even feel that. What a great place to start with than something so simple, so direct. I am sitting on this chair. So we can take a look at that. When we say I'm sitting on a chair, there is a thought that arises that says I am sitting on a chair. Because if the thought does not arise, then I am sitting on a chair is not your experience. There has to be a thought that arises that says, oh yeah, I am sitting on this chair. And there may be a sensation, you may feel that you are sitting on this chair. Meaning, there is a certain sensation that you are sensing, something that you are sensing. And that something that you are sensing, there is a thought that comes with it that says, this sensation is the sensation of me sitting on the chair. In both cases, when the thought arises, I am sitting on the chair, you perceive the thought, right? Or when the sensation arises, I'm sitting on the chair, you perceive that sensation. So then we can ask ourselves the following question. I am perceiving the thought that says I am sitting on the chair. I know the thought because I perceive it. There is no doubt about that. I perceive the thought. But the thought does not perceive me. Right? So the thought does not perceive me. Therefore, the thought knows nothing about me. Therefore, the thought that says I am sitting on the chair, given that that thought knows nothing about me, whatever that thought says about me is gibberish, nonsense, because the thought does not know me. I know the thought. That applies the same to the feeling. I feel that I'm sitting on this chair. The feeling is some sort of experience that we call a feeling that says, if we interpret the feeling, we perceive the feeling, and we interpret the feeling that says, I am sitting on the chair. I perceive the feeling and I know the feeling. I perceive it, but the feeling does not perceive me, does not know me. Therefore, whatever the feeling says about me is gibberish, is nonsense. Because the light of awareness is shining from me onto the thought or onto the sensation, and not the other way around. That stands to reason. Therefore, we can come to the conclusion that whenever we are believing whatever a thought's saying about me, or whenever we are believing whatever a sensation or a feeling is saying about me, we are being foolish. If you can just stay with that, whatever you perceive, you know that what is perceived does not know you. You define whatever you perceive via language, via thought, via definitions, via labeling. You say outside, inside, green, blue. You define what you perceive. And you remain undefined. What is perceived does not define you. A feeling does not define you. A thought that you have about yourself, about your family, about your body, about your beauty, about your money, about all these thoughts that are about you, none of them knows anything about you. They're all gibberish. Because the light of awareness shines from you onto the thought, meaning you create the thought as you perceive it. But the thought does not create you and does not perceive you. Whenever you define yourself via a thought or via a sensation or via a perception, you are making yourself subject to a thought, to a sensation, or to a perception. And given that any thought, any perception, and any sensation is both impermanent, meaning it arises and dissolves, making room for another and another, and limited, you experience yourself as being impermanent, meaning as being mortal, and as being limited, meaning as being separate. And whenever you experience yourself as being limited, as being impermanent, as being mortal, and as being separate, this is what we refer to as unhappiness. But given that, in fact, you cannot be defined by a thought, you cannot be defined by an experience, you cannot be defined by a perception, you cannot be defined by a sensation. Given that, in fact, you cannot be defined by anything that you perceive, it is impossible because you are the perceiver of that. And that does not perceive you, that does not know you. You are the knower, you are the knowingness, you are not the known. Given that, in fact, in truth, you are not a known, you are the knowingness. The unhappiness that you experience is an illusory unhappiness. Because in truth, in fact, you are not what is defined by thought. You are neither impermanent, meaning mortal, neither are you limited, meaning separate. But although your unhappiness is not real unhappiness, you experience it, and you will continue to experience it as real. As long as you have not fully understood and fully grasped what is being shared with you right now. And because, and although unhappiness is not real, and still your experience is that of unhappiness, given that we do not have tolerance for unhappiness, because our natural state, our natural reality, our absolute nature is freedom and happiness. We are not happy being unhappy. And we are looking, therefore, for ways to come to the happiness, to be free from the unhappiness, which is ingrained in all of us, irrespective of whether you are born in a very, 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 very wealthy situation, you're born in a very high caste, this body may be in a very luxurious home, or the best democracy that is possible in this universe, you will still experience unhappiness. And given our true nature, we will seek happiness. And the way we seek happiness, that we are all familiar with, is with the senses, with the body-mind. We seek happiness via thought, via activity, via experiences, via situations, relationships. We start to seek, and we start to seek happiness in the world, to have better relationship with our family, to have better relationship with our partners, to have better relationships at work, to have better relationship with our body, to have better relationship with our world. We start to journey outwards with our senses, looking for happiness. And the sooner we realize that we are not finding it, that we will not find it, the sooner we will be able to let go of seeking happiness outside of ourselves, and the sooner we will turn inwardly and contemplate what is the happiness that does not depend on relationship, on a situation, on a circumstance, that does not depend on the world, body, mind. And the sooner we come to this understanding, the sooner we will start to contemplate the happiness that does not come and go. When you are hungry, you cannot just imagine a very beautiful meal, a very delicious meal, no matter what a great imagination you have. You cannot satiate your hunger with whatever you imagine. Your hunger has to be satiated with eating the meal. There has to be something real that will satisfy you. This is a metaphor. Of course, I'm using a metaphor in a simple metaphor. But similarly, in your inquiry, you cannot be satisfied with very beautiful spiritual words or the promise of God or the gods, no matter what beautiful robes they wear. You will not be satisfied with very beautiful Buddhas that are shining and glow in the dark. You will only be satisfied with what is real. An image, no matter how beautiful it is, will not satisfy you. Only what is real can bring to you real happiness. Only the real can bring the real. The illusory or the temporary or the impermanent will only give you a illusory, a temporary or impermanent experience. We all know that, like going to the fair where we play games, different games, we have fun, or we eat cotton candy. When we're young, we eat cotton candy. We have a really wonderful time eating cotton candy. They give you temporary a pleasure, a temporary experience. And a temporary experience will give you temporary happiness, but then it is gone. So only way to get a real happiness, a real peace, it has to be given by what is real. Now I am here to tell you that there is a reality. And the reality is whatever it is, this very moment that is experiencing this experience. Doesn't matter by what name you call it. It has no name, in fact. But yet you cannot deny this experience. Before you label it, before you try to find a date and a time for it, before you try to think about it and interpret it, you cannot deny something, whatever it is that you have not defined yet. That is, you cannot deny that there is something rather than nothing in this very moment. You cannot wiggle your way out of that. Even if you say, well, this is a dream, I am right now sleeping on planet Xenon, and I'm dreaming all this. Even if it's a dream, you cannot deny that there is something that is dreaming this dream. You cannot wiggle your way out of that. Even if you say, well, this is not real, there is something that is saying this is not real. You cannot wiggle your way out of reality. There is reality. And the reality cannot be something that you imagine. Because whatever you imagine, next minute you're imagining something else. Reality cannot be imagined. You can perceive a tree You can perceive a deer, you can perceive a thought, you can perceive a bellyache. You can perceive a tremor inside of your body, you can perceive a pressure in your chest. But you cannot perceive that perceives. But you cannot deny that perceives. You cannot deny there is something that perceives. But it is not what is perceived, what is perceived. Because what is perceived could be a mirage. It could be an optic illusion, an optical illusion. But even the optical illusion refers to something that perceives it. The question then is, what is this reality? Because in satsang, we're interested in truth, in absolute truth. We're interested in reality. We're not interested in narratives and stories and tales, which may be very, very interesting in other meetings. We can go to other meetings that are about various Arabian tales, or tales of Alibaba and the 44 thieves. That's not what we're interested in. In satsang, we are looking at what is it that is real, what is it that is true. And what better time is there to look at what is real, what is true, than right now? Because if something is real, it has to be real right now. It's not real yesterday and real tomorrow, but right now, not real. It's not something that is more real now and less real tomorrow, or it's got to be real now across the board. Now, the same now, same reality. It can be a changing reality. Oh, yesterday it was a dinosaur, today it's the elephant, tomorrow it's a rhinoceros. It's not like that. That would not be reality. That would be appearance. That would be mind. Reality has to be the same reality across the board, irrespective of time and space, meaning right now, every now, now, always now, same reality. What is it?